Hello everyone, I welcome you all for the online session of Chapter 8, Role of Parliament in a Democratic Country. Now for today's session, I'll be basically discussing about some of the important concepts related to democracy, as well as we'll also look into various important topics related to the chapter. I'm sure you all are doing your regular task given by us, be it your worksheet, your solutions, revision notes. So please be very sincere with what you do because that will help you out in revision as well as it will help you out in understanding the chapter more better. So for today's session, I think we are going to discuss something which you all are somewhere aware of. You are somewhere familiar with the concepts because I think we have done with some of the concept of this chapter in chapter 3. So I think you are going to understand this chapter more better. It will be a revision of some of the concepts which we have already done, as well as some of the new concepts that we'll be learning in this chapter. So basically, I'll be starting with democracy, what we basically understand by democracy, and then we'll look into the value of democracy, the importance of democracy, uh, how important is democracy for us, and then we'll move into a little different topic that will be organs of the government. We have three organs of the government, so we'll look into it. Apart from that, we'll also look into Indian Parliament, uh, the houses of Parliament, what are the important functions of the Parliament. So it's going to be very interesting chapter, and I think as a students, I think we all need to at least know about the Indian politics, how our government is functioning. So it's very important for us to understand the structure of our government. So it's going to be very informative session, and if you keep on taking important notes, I'm sure it will be a sort of revision also for you in later stages. You can go through it and understand the chapter more better. So we are going to have lots of fun in this session. We are going to learn something new and something more informative. So let's get started for our session. Now, in chapter 8, it's very important for us to first understand what is democracy in order to understand the other important topics. So, first, we'll understand what is democracy. A government in which the supreme power is vested in the people and exercised by them directly or indirectly through a system of representation, usually involving periodically held free elections. So, in democracy, basically the power is given to the people and they exercise their power in elections. So, they appoint their own representatives, wherein they do it by voting in elections so they can select their own leaders. So, this is possible only in a democratic government. So, democracy gives a freedom to the people because it gives the entire authority to the people to decide their own destiny. So we'll understand democracy in simple terms. Democracy is a form of government in which the people have the authority to choose their representatives. So the supreme authority lies with the people. So people have the ultimate authority to select their own government because they have the right to select their own destiny. So democracy gives full freedom to people to select their own representatives. Now we'll move towards the next topic, that is the value of democracy. Now, how important is democracy to us? Why it is so very important? So that we'll be looking into. Democracy ensures its citizens a broader range of personal freedoms. So democracy gives its citizens the freedom to personal freedoms like freedom to speak, freedom to press, freedom to association and peaceful assemblies, etc. So it gives a lot of freedom for its citizens. It also provides people with maximum opportunity to take moral responsibility for their choices and decisions about government policies. So in democratic form of government, people get a lot of opportunities and they are responsible for what decision they take. So it is the moral responsibility to make sure they make proper choices, as well as they are also play an important role in decisions about government policies. So people get a lot of importance in democratic form of government and they ultimately have the complete control over the government. Now the next topic is organs of government. So we have three different organs of government. They are legislative, executive, and judiciary. So these are the three important and main organs of the government. Now it is necessary that all the three organs work in mutual unity and cooperation. The legislature frames the laws. So all the three branches are very important to make sure that they work properly in mutual unity and cooperation, because each one is dependent on each other. Only judiciary is kept independent for certain reasons, whereas legislature and executive are interdependent. Legislature frames the laws, the executive implements the frame laws, and the judiciary maintains law and order by providing justice to all people and protecting their rights. So every person has certain rights and regulations to follow, and the rules and regulations are being made by legislature. They make laws, and the duty of executive department is to make sure the laws are implemented, and they take all necessary actions required to make sure that the laws are properly implemented and they are supposed to be followed by people. And the judiciary maintains law and order by providing justice to all people and protecting their rights. So in spite of given the fundamental rights to people, but if there are any violations to it, then judiciary makes sure that people do not face any exploitation and they get the necessary justice. So in this way, the three organs of the government play an important role in the administration of the state. So here now we'll be moving into the important topic, that is the Parliament of India. So here we'll look into some of the important points on Indian Parliament. So Indian Parliament is the supreme legislative body of the Republic of India. So Indian Parliament is actually a supreme legislative body of our country, and it basically make laws for our country. It is a bicameral legislature composed of the President of India and the two houses, the Rajya Sabha and the Lok Sabha. Rajya Sabha is also called as Council of States, and the Lok Sabha is called as House of the People. So both the houses, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, are responsible to make laws, and when they make laws, they also make sure that the laws are more valid and as per the constitution. So the main function of the parliament is to make laws for our country. Now, after understanding the Indian Parliament, it is important for us to understand the parliamentary democracy. Now, in a parliamentary democracy, the president appoints the leader of the party who gets the majority number of seats in the Lok Sabha as the prime minister. So once the elections are done with, and the leader, who is the leader of the party, who wins over the election, so that main leader is appointed by the president, who is going to be the prime minister. So the official appointment is done by the president in the parliamentary democracy. The parliamentary government is completely accountable to the Lok Sabha. So the parliamentary government is completely accountable to the Lok Sabha. They are more responsible, they are answerable to the Lok Sabha. Government remains in power as long as it enjoys the confidence of the majority of the members of parliament. So in spite of getting the power, it does not mean that the government can rule as they wish like, but they are totally controlled by the parliament. So now we'll look into some of the important functions of parliament. So firstly, we'll look into the legislative function. The parliament legislates on all matters mentioned in the union list and the concurrent list. So all the laws related to the subjects which are listed in the union list and the concurrent list are taken care by the parliament. The next function is the parliament has the power to amend the constitution of India. Both houses of the parliament have equal powers as far as amending the constitution is concerned. So the parliament has the power to make any changes in the constitution. They can also frame new laws, but that can be done only when it is passed in both the houses of the parliament. Only then it is possible. So amendments will have to be passed in both the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha for them to be effective. So any amendments that the parliament makes, it has to pass in both the houses, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, and it is only after the sign of the president it gets converted to a law or an act. So the other important function is related to finance. Parliament is the ultimate authority when it comes to finances. The executive cannot spend a single pie without parliamentary approval. So whenever they are using any money for the welfare of people or for any projects, they'll have to make sure that the bill is passed by the parliament. It is approved by the parliament, and only then the money can be used. So these are some of the important functions of the parliament. Now, coming towards the end of the session, I'm sure you all enjoyed the session well, and something more interesting and informative that you learned in today's session. Now, the task for home, I want everyone to do it sincerely because it is going to help you in understanding the chapter as well as it will help you in revising the topic again and again. So, for that, you'll have to write down in detail about the democracy as well as the Indian Parliament. So these two are main topics, democracy and Indian Parliament. So whatever you learned today regarding these two topics, I want you to write down, learn it first and then write down neatly one time in a book, so that will help you in revising the topics again and again. So for our next session, I'll be basically discussing about the two main important houses of the parliament, that is Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. So actually these two main houses are very important for us to understand. So we'll also look into how the ruling party is formed. So we'll understand the basic system wherein the ruling government is formed, how it is formed. So the information is going to be very informative and very interesting. So I don't want you to miss this session. As well as also you can be prepared from your side, wherein you can keep some of the information ready, also pre-planned as well as prepared, so that you can understand some of the important concepts easily. So I hope you all do this task sincerely and wait for our next session.